And this is a problem, though, 'cause that was actually the second gas that Zero had, and Zero's just going to tap out. GG.
GG. Man, okay, so I can't believe that Sharp just kind of rolled over Zero so easily there off that one base build. It's one of those things, like, as a Zerg player, you're just sitting there like, oh my god, I have all this time to think about what I'm going to do once Terran pushes out with their one base. But, you know, he couldn't come up with the best way to deal with it. Oh my god, we're getting another 10 stars.
Alright, more
10. You're just going crazy today. Boing, boing, boing.
Boing, 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 boing. Boing, boing,
Thank
boing.
you, Superstar. And guys, everybody, you can fill out surveys if you want to contribute stars towards this cast. That would be great. It would cost you nothing to fill out a survey. I'm sure if you ask Blindwire, he'll direct you to where the surveys are on this page.
Yeah, but, you know, going back to what you were saying about, you know, having time as a Zerg player, you know, there's a certain limit into which you can play passive like that. Like, I think as a Zerg player, you should be still trying to go for that, like, at least engage the Terran. You can't let him, like, control the map freely with a one-base army.
Yeah, but how do you pressure that one base on match point specifically? On match point, you're so well defended. You have that high ground on the right side, along with a giant wall that protects you. I don't know if you've ever seen the show or the most horrific movie I've ever seen in my life, Attack on Titan. But really, it's like a giant wall that defends you against Titans. And you can't overcome it.
Actually, I think what Zero should have done was just, like, math expand. Take advantage of the fact that Sharp only has one base. You know, just math expand, just let him get more larvae. Because what Zero really needs is just, like, a larva. Just lots and lots of larvae. We saw there that he only had maybe 3 hatcheries at most the entire game. Or 2, maybe 4. The other option, of course, is just, you know, just to make a lot of units. Just, you know, stay on 2 bases or get that 3rd base up, make a lot of units. I think what you have to do, though, as a Zerg player, you have to constantly make your army stay on the move with the Terran army, so that you actually go for the one sweet engagement you can find, because you can't just, you know, delay the engagement if you can't if you let your Terran get way too entrenched outside that natural.
Right, you are XKCD. And guys, I set myself up for a segue to tell you a story.
Oh,
you know how I do this.
Of course.
So, I brought up Attack on Titan, and I don't know if any of you guys have actually heard of the anime. It's kind of like a really big sensation. It's like a cult hit almost. And for me, I have never seen the anime Attack on Titan. Have you ever heard of this, XKCD?
I've read the manga, then I dropped it.
Okay. Well, the first exposure I've ever had to it was watching the movie. And so they made a live action movie in Japan. And on my 5-hour flight to Seattle, I watched that movie. And it was the most awkward thing that I've ever experienced, on top of it being horrifying. So Attack on Titan is these people who have been living behind these walls for 100 years because these gigantic people that are the size of skyscrapers are trying to break down the wall so they can eat all the people inside. Now, Here's the horrifying thing that I didn't know, is that these Titans are all completely naked people without sex organs. So it's just like nippleless, you know, pantsless giants meandering through a city, just gobbling people up in the most bloody, gory fashion possible. And it's not just like full-grown adults, but adolescents and like naked babies running around. And so the horrifying thing, XKCD, is that there are people sitting around me while I'm trying to watch this movie. So fortunately, because most of the people went to sleep that were in my nearby watching, I was able to watch this movie without feeling too awkward. But every time, like, the guy sitting next to me woke up to move around and then go back to sleep, I would, like, pause the movie because I'm like, I don't want him to see that I'm watching a movie with 20 giant naked people walking around eating people. Anyway, the best part is that they have the sequel / part 2 to this movie on there, and I'm going to watch it on the way back.
Oh, please don't.
I have to. I mean, it was the worst B-rated movie I've ever seen. But I've got to watch the second one just because of how horrible of an experience I had with the first one. I mean, it's mandatory. I don't even understand the plot. Don't even try and get me to understand the actual plot. I mean, somehow they ended up defeating one of the Titans by getting eaten and then infusing themselves inside the spine of the Titan. I don't understand how that works.
I think you're just setting yourself up for failure.
It always is failure. I mean, it's the same thing with Goku coming back to life 1,000 times in DBZ. You know, they can make whatever they want happen.
I think you need to watch a proper anime. Have you ever heard of Legend of Galactic Heroes?
No, I have not.
You should watch that.
I've heard of Inuyasha.
No, what you need to do is download, torrent the high res of Legend of Galactic Heroes, and just watch it.
Yeah, it's good.
Educate yourself.
Look, nothing beats Bleach. Come on.
Nah, I think Bleach is pretty bad.
I actually only watched like the first 50 episodes of Bleach, to be honest. I watched enough to learn about Bankai, so then I can walk around and just yell Bankai, and people have no idea what I'm saying, but I still feel badass as I hit my final form.
Yokoi. Of course, this is not an anime stream. This is a StarCraft stream.
No, this is a nerd stream.
Nerd stream.
This is absolutely a nerd stream. We can talk about this sort of stuff.
All right.
As long as you're not a brony, you can hang out here. Have I told you about the brony I used to work with?
Oh, man. You actually worked with a brony?
I worked with a legit brony. Like, guys, these are adults that I work with. Adult programmers, just to be honest. So, in our little group of cubicle farms that we had going on for, government development of badass Blackhawks, Chinooks, Apache helicopters, and then cubicle next to me is the brony. He literally had at least 20 My Little Ponies lined up across his shelf for everybody to see them. I mean, he was proud of this, so he's got the My Little Ponies, and then of course there's a guy that I worked with whose wife thought it was hilarious, so she came in on one of her off days for his birthday and brought in a bunch of more My Little Ponies, and then a balloon that was the size of the cubicle filled with helium that I had to watch spin for days on end because he refused to bring home his balloon that was covered in My Little Pony paraphernalia. Oh my goodness. This guy is probably, like, if I had to do a stand-up, I would just start talking about all the stories I have about this guy. It is hilarious.
I would not want to work with him.
Put a sword in the pony's hand and have them just go at it with each other, gladiator style. Okay, I can get behind that. Gladiator ponies.
They made a show like that. It's called Happy Little Tree Friends.
What is this?
We'll let you figure it out.
Happy Little Tree Friends. You're not talking about the little tree friends from South Park.
Maybe, maybe not.
Because if it's the ones from South Park, they are hilarious.
Blind Run knows what I'm talking about. But of course, we are live back in the studio. Game number 3.
Okay, guys, getting relevant here. I believe that map number 3 is going to be on Fighting Spirit.
Of course it is. And this is the problem, though.
Right here, an hour into the cast, XKCD, I'm finally getting some energy.
All right, that's beautiful. But here's the thing, though. Zero needs the energy. He's down 2 games. He cannot lose anymore. He needs to win 3 games in a row. Otherwise, Sharp will be your bronze medalist.
Yeah. Sharp wins this if Zero wins 0 games.
Drink that water. Do it.
Yeah, I like how you said that as like Sharp is choking in the booth too.
Exactly.
Oh, man. Oh, what a good day. Guys, StarCraft is awesome. Thank you for coming out and joining us. We appreciate all the viewership. And it looks like game number 3 is about to be on the way. Yes, all the marbles right here for Zero. He's got to win 3 in a row. I don't think he can do it. XKCD, I am a complete downer. He's gonna have to convince me here in this game 3.
You know, you can't blunt the sharp. That's all I can really say. You can't blunt the sharp. So of course, here we're gonna have cross bonds on Fighting Spirit in the top left as your purple Terran. It's going to be sharp, and in the bottom right as your blue Zerg, it will be Zero.
Are we gonna see Zerg put on their Zero suit? That's the big question. Overlord scouting out to the top right position.
You bring a good point, though. Would Zero be able to cosplay as Samus?
That would be pretty cool. I mean, I think Zero could make a pretty good-looking woman.
Laura did a pretty good job, so why not Zero?
Yeah, throw some blonde hair on that.
And look at this. You can see here the cheerful. We have no idea what it says, but...
Yep, and if you guys are confused about our little shout out about dressing up as a girl, Larva actually played as a booth girl in one of the Sonic Star Leagues early on. One of the booth girls couldn't make it into the studio, so he went in and actually was harassing players in their booths. And he wore a blonde wig, wore a dress. It was hilarious.
It was, of course.
Oh, and XKC, make sure the stream is good to go. Oh, you're working on that already. Okay, so guys, we're seeing just the supply depot down first, not the barracks first like we saw in the last game. So maybe Sharp setting himself up to go a little bit more standard in this game. With cross-bomb positions, though, this could be another big macro game.
You know, it definitely could be. And hopefully, I think this stream should look better right now. But here comes the early pull and the early gas coming out here from Zero. Once again, it looks like he's going to want to get that early tech going out for himself here. Oh man, these people want me to move it up even more?
Well, no, you're moving the entire screen up instead of like recapturing the bottom of the screen, because they want you to see like the bottom of the carapace image. So just go ahead and recapture it. That's probably the best way to go. So here's what I'm thinking about. For a Zerg player, when you're in cross-bomb position on Fighting Spirit, it's got to be a little bit of a puzzle for you to decide where you want to take your third base, because no matter what, it's, you know, expanding, I guess, relatively even, whether you go to the top right or the bottom left.
High quality boudoir production here, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, looks like the stream is saying it's good right now. High quality boudoir production.
That's right. Guys, we just like to make it nostalgic for you. I wish we could cast in a studio where people could just do all this for us and we would never have to worry about this nonsense again. Okay, so here it looks like we're going to see the SUV stacking up on the ramp to go for a defense against these Zerglings. Quite a few Zerglings already out here, and one of the SUVs does go down right away. Look at that, the SUV glitching right in there to help defend on that wall. So if you guys aren't familiar, you actually click the SUV to the mineral line inside of your main, so that way you can just basically goes through your units, which allowed the SUV to go up there and reform the wall there to defend against the Lings.
You know, I'm really thinking that Zero's is actually on full tilt here, because he went for a 9 pull speed, but he's not really doing anything effective with it. Of course, he does have the nice map control, so he's going to force Sharp to be very slow when expanding to his natural here. Or this could just be a very calculated move by Zero.
Yeah, you know, it puts pressure on the front, causes a few SUVs to get pulled. I think behind this, as long as he can just kind of continue to harass at the natural base while he does take his own natural, I think he's still going to be okay in this game.
It's like, you know, Sharp is going to leave those Marines up on the ramp here, you know. He's not going to be able to move out for a very long time.
Yeah, and that's fine. He's going to have a constant production of Marines anyway. And so as long as he can just continue to add to that ramp, it's going to be impossible for Zero to ever do any damage with those Lings. The only thing he can do is hold them on the low ground. But as soon as the command center's done, it's just going to lift, float over, and the Marines are going to be able to push out at the same time along with those SCVs, and the Lings won't be able to get a quick enough surround to eliminate that army.
But if you do see Sharp, he's going to go for the 2 Barracks Academy build here. He's going to get a very nice group, sizable amount of Marines and medics early on here. Meanwhile, we do see the macro hash rate coming down here by 0 inside the main base, so...
Oh! Wait, did I just see a Ling burrow? No, we got burrow, guys. Wow. So the naturals won't be able to be built or landed here in this game.
Oh my goodness. You know, it's going to take like at least another 45-second for the scan to come up here. This is a very cheeky move by 0. Look at this. The first Zerg is going to block off the command center. But more importantly, it's that second Zergling. It's actually going to block off the supply depot that Sharp would be normally using to create a wall off.
Oh, that is so awesome. I just did a complete double take when I saw the first Ling burrow because I was like right within vision. And like, I was like, is my stream ahead again? Because I'm seeing something completely insane here. So the burrow, I love this move. And look at this, the Ling's getting in and killing off that bunker initially the first time too. And, you know, 0 is just coming on, like, really aggressive and strong in this game.
This is just great. But unfortunately, no, he did unburrow that one Zergling. So the command center will go down finally.
Yeah, so now we're seeing that there's a pretty sizable force built up from Sharp. And he does have that natural figured out here. So, I mean, Sharp knows that there are Lings that can be burrowed on the map at any time. He can be surprised. But really, how much of a threat is Burrow to Sharp? I mean, for people who are coming from StarCraft 2, you're used to seeing Burrow because you know that Burrow and Banelings and setting up Baneling mines is a pretty big deal. But there's really nothing that has that same punch in StarCraft 1. I mean, other than Lurkers, when they burrow, you can see the spines that are really effective. But popping up a bunch of Lings around a Marine Medic Firebat army is just going to cause the Lings to die.
Right. You know, interesting enough that we've seen in the OSL finals where Effort tried to go for like a very mass burrow strategy against Flash, but like you said, it didn't really work out because Flash micro is actually way too good. However, though, Sharp could be baited into attacking this, and if those burrowed Zerg does come up in due time, that could be a big problem.
Yeah, I think the burrowed Lings need to be there, but on top of that, the mutas. And so what Zero's probably going to want to shape this strategy around is, can he put his Lings in a good burrowed position where he baits the Marines into a location where he can have the automatic Lings right there against the Marines while his mutas are doing their shots. So I think that's kind of one of the aggressive moves that Zero could go for if he wants to try and eliminate this force here.
Here comes the Mutilus though. 9 Mutilus spawning right now out of those larvae. No third base yet though, but the problem is that Zero can't really take a third. The Marines and medic pressure that Sharp has is just way too great right now.
Yeah, and so there is that. Oh, the attack on the front. We'll get to those turrets later. The Marines attacking the Sunken right now, and it is going to go down. But fortunately, the mutas are out. Zero's Muta Micro is just going to have to be absolutely perfect. He has to harness his inner Jaedong.
Wait, where are those burrowed Zerglings? He had burrowed Zerglings. Did they all just melt down to the Marines and medic fire?
No, it looked like they were still on the map. Maybe they did. Maybe they unburrowed and died right away. Oh, that's not a good spawn for that Muta. Unfortunately, it couldn't get mixed in with the flock here. None of the micros working. None of the glaive shots are going off for Zero. He's actually having really bad luck right now and not able to eliminate this force. GG!
GG!
Oh my god, Sharp did it! 3-0. Can you believe this? XKCD, I liquid betted against Sharp again. I made a humongous mistake.
Oh man, you didn't believe in the power of the Sharp?
That is 6 disgusting points that I have just lost. Oh my goodness. I'm going to drop out of the top 100. This is the first time that'll ever happen.
Hey man, you can't blunt the Sharp.
I hope everybody else didn't go on the Sharp train. Wow. Oh my god, and 5 more stars from Zero MB. God, you are just awesome. Thank you for listening to this cast. Boing, 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 boing.
boing,
We need a
boing.
boing song. That settles it.
I'm pretty sure there is one, but I think it'd be nice if we could just make our own.
Yes, we need to have one. Yeah, thank you guys for listening again. I'm sorry we didn't bring the best energy possible, but the time change has really effed with me. You know, being at 3 in the morning when usually these casts ends at like 7.
Right. But more importantly, though, is that I think Jill just fully went on tilt. You know, after losing that first game, the second game wasn't really, you know, his best Zerg play. And then that last game, he went for like a very cheeky strategy that completely backfired. You know, like one sharp knows that you went for burrowed Zerglings. He knows that you don't have gas. Your timing's going to be completely way behind. You saw that when he went for his first big push, he was able to go in right away because Zero could only afford, you know, 2 Sunkens at most.
And you know the biggest thing too is that Zero isn't a player who goes for 9 pull often. He has such solid ZVT mid and late game play. Why did we see him go for 9 pulls like this?
I think just him tilting.
Yeah. It's either him tilting or maybe it's him not caring quite as much too, like trying to get the easy win.
I don't think a 9 pull would ever get you an easy win at this level of Brood. It might work on the Icy Cup ladder, but you know, Sharp was way more than prepared to deal with the 9 pull.
That's a good point. We will just say that is typical Zero tilting. He just has this like round of 4, you know, when he's a top 4 player, he just has these tilts. It's just what happens.
But of course, here, don't forget, this Saturday though, tune in for the final. It's going to be BC versus Effort. It's going to be awesome.
Guys, I hope I come to this cast sober and leave this cast sober. But
it's not happening.
But I will be absolutely ecstatic, crazy. It is going to be insane. Yeah, I'm saving all of my yelling for that cast. So prepare yourselves. It is something you will have never experienced before. XKCD and I will have just like a next tier level casting.
Oh,
everything
we will
be ready for you guys.
We will.
And that's going to be at the normal time. No, it's going to be 2 hours earlier.
Yes, it will be 2 hours earlier.
Okay.
Well, obviously you're gonna have your your K-pop performance. You gotta have your epic introduction. You gotta have the camera pan over the players' parents. You gotta set up the storylines, of course. And most importantly, we're gonna see BC lose once again. It's gonna be glorious. It's gonna be great. All the fanboy tears. It's gonna resonate around the world.
Wrong you are, XKCD.
No, you're gonna be down half a bottle by the time we're done.
No way. You know, this no eyebrow strategy is gonna play right into Bisu's hand. You know what? Bisu thought, you know, if Everett's gonna come into the studio looking like an alien, so am I.
Now here's the thing though, the only way that Bisu can win if he can somehow install Windows 7 on Effort's machine before the game starts. And I'm pretty sure Bisu doesn't know how to install.
Only Zerg players are so low that they pull cords on outlets to basically fake a power outage. You know, we saw it with Jaedong. We're going to see it with the next, potential great Effort. And, you know, ultimately, Effort's going to complain because he's going to get in there and the wrong operating system's going to be on his computer.
No. The operating system will be perfect. Everything's going to be great. Effort's going to have his own Massier. Have the Star Girl in the booth working his shoulders.
Yeah, the difference between Effort in a booth with a Star Girl and Bisu in a booth with a Star Girl is Bisu's actually going to get laid.
Damn it.
That's why they actually installed the booth shades, so Bisu could pull them down whenever he needs the privacy. Effort doesn't get any because he's not getting any.
Well, here's the thing though, you win the money, you have the opportunity to go on the streets to get some action.
Yeah,
if you don't have
Effort does need to pull a trick off the streets every once in a while, but that's not safe, you know, physically or disease safe, to be honest. Don't get a hooker. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up our amazing cast. One last time, thank you from myself, BC Dagger, XKCD. It's been a pleasure casting with you again.
It always is a pleasure casting.
And thanks to all the viewers. We will see you sharp on Saturday. Make sure you look at the time and you don't miss it. You don't want to be late. I'm not sure what pregame shows we're going to have, but it's going to be a festival.
It will be.
All right. Thank you and goodbye.